You ready? It's time to take a ride. Let's go. Yes. Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast. I am your humble host. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the applause. You guys are so kind. Thank you once again for tuning in. I appreciate all of the love and support that we've gotten from you over the last few years. Could you believe it's actually been a few years? This is actually episode number 234 in totality of all the things that we do. So right there is enough. If you're not driving, if you're walking, if you're on the treadmill, you can clap, throw your hands up, praise the Lord, whatever you got to do to make sure that you with us when we show our gratitude and expressions of love for your support. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, review wherever you're at right now, and give us a thumbs up. I think a thumb is good when it's up. It's really good when it's up. Anyway, this is going to be the first episode of season 3. I know you've seen a bunch of promos about season 3, and it's the reason why this particular episode needs to happen in January. There are a few reasons why this needs to happen in January. So, this is the cool thing about this show. You're going to be able to view it on our YouTube channel, and you're going to be able to listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. So today, as always, I have a special guest. I know I always say special in the sense of specialities, but no, this guy is super special. Let's put it like that. He's super special. And it's the reasons why we had to have this show. I got a call from my good friend of the show, Doug Gould, Worship MD, and he hit me up and said, "Hey, guy, we got to jump the line. We just got to jump the line. We need to get on the show. I got to jump the line." And he's a friend of the show and a virtual mentor of mine. And I figured, maybe I ought to pay attention, Maybe I should just like return the phone call. When I looked at my email and I saw that he emailed me 2 weeks prior. Now, those of you who work in church, you know that Christmas is a very busy season. The season is over. So season 3 is about to begin. And we have a special guest. I'm going to screw his name up. I'm just going to screw it up. I just know I am. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Ron Procopio.
You nailed it.
I nailed it. You know what? Miss Nicholas, my second grade teacher, I should get a gold star.
Yeah.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you aboard the show. I really appreciate your time. And we have a lot to cover.
Oh, yeah.
So, to the audience, briefly describe your roles.
my roles.
Your roles.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I have a hat rack at home with all of the hats that I wear. And ultimately, I produce conferences and expos. I create them, and I have a long history of doing that within the House of Worship community, being part of WFX, launching and creating CFX, and now the Wave Conference.
We were talking off script, and I was like, the name Wave could be taken a few different ways.
Sure.
It could be taken from Wave, the product line, or Wave, the installation company, who I am great friends with those guys. And the acronym really, really made sense when I read the acronym. The acronym is Worship Audio Visual Experience.
Yeah. It's so, and I, like you, I'm big fans of both of those companies. I've got friends at both of them. And I have a tremendous amount of respect. It's funny that the key word in our acronym is experience. What we're trying to do with this event is a lot of the events that I've worked on, the audiovisual part of it, being on the stage, being on the sanctuary, that is obvious and evident. The question that I have is, how are we utilizing audiovisual technology from the parking lot all the way through their experience of the congregation as they come in on Sunday or even on a Wednesday?
Right.
Could be digital signage, could be the audio that you're hearing in lobbies. It could be, as we were talking earlier about environmental projections, like all of those things contribute to how people are experiencing church, how they're focusing their energy. And that's what I think we want to be working on with this event. It's not, yes, it's important to know how to program and make sure that you're getting the most out of the fixtures that you have in your sanctuary.
Right.
But what are we doing in the end of the day to help people have a better church experience and get closer to God? That's what this is really about.
So let's backtrack. Just a hair.
Yes,
just a hair. A couple of strands. I lost.
That's all I got left. Yeah, but you gotta be careful.
I lost a few. A few dozen or two, dozen or four.
We should have done this podcast like 10 years ago. I was a much more handsome man back then.
Oh man, I had dreads then. Like, I had dreads like down to here. Like,
really?
Yes. My wife goes, "What happened?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, I tried to do fun hair when I was younger, and my parents would not let me do any of that stuff.
I figured it out when I saw, my father died when I was very young. So I hadn't seen any pictures of him like when he was an adult, not a lot of them. But I remember sitting on my bed with my mom, and there was a picture of my dad with his back to the camera, and he had a bald spot. And I was like, no, that cannot be me. So from that point on, I said, I'm going to do everything with my hair until it comes to time when I need to go low.
Yeah. Well, I'm 6'2". I'm fortunate that I can be standing up and no one really notices that there's some spots in there. So. But we went way off track.
We went way off track. Anyway,
but you know what? Everybody can relate to this.
Yes. I'm pretty sure some people that listen to that are follically challenged as well.
Follically challenged.
So how did you get into this crazy side of church and tech?
Yeah, it's funny. So growing up, I grew up in you can kind of see in the background, we've got a musician's cave here. My dad is a music minister. I grew up in and around the church, went to a Catholic school all through my life. It was in college I started getting into stage work, became stagehand, started working in all of the venues around New England, building concerts. I've worked for every band you could ever think of at some point. And after grad, I went to grad school, and when I took a class in grad school on event management, it just kind of became like the clouds opened up, and I was like, this is what I'm born to do. This is what I've been doing my whole life, is creating these experiences, these events for people, and I really enjoy that. And WFX was the perfect marriage for me to really jump on that event and say, okay, I get this. This is where I grew up in the house of worship world, and my production side of things, where I know how to build a lighting rig. I know how to assemble a sound rig. I can mix if I needed to. It just kind of all made sense to me. And so ever since then, I've been in this production side of things in the event industry, 17, 18 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what, though?
That explains a lot, though.
Yeah, and I still get wowed every time I go around to all of the other conferences and trade shows. I'm at the LDI show. I'm at NAB or Infocom, and I get wowed when I see speakers that are paper thin. I see lights that are doing amazing things, and seeing one of my favorite new ones was a transparent LED wall that I saw at LDI this year. That was just amazing to see. This LED thing that you can look right through, and you're seeing this image moving around. It's amazing. So I think that it's so cool that this technology is out there. And now I'm able to take that and help people in their churches, grow. How can they utilize the stuff that's out there and turn it around in their own world?
Right. So I think like us as tech guys, and we walk into a building, either someone will notice you, or someone will call you in for advice of some sort about. So, what is the most common question you normally get? I mean,
can you help me with my wireless mics?
Oh man,
I feel like wireless mics are always the troubleshooting problem that I get.
Yes, can you help me with that? Is so true.
Yeah, I would get my dad. What would happen was in where I grew up here in Rhode Island is that my dad he's fairly well known in the church community here. So every church would call him up because they knew that I had tech experience and be like, can your son come over and come take a look at my system and tell me why it's feeding back, why it's ringing, why it's, clipping when he walks off the stage.
They don't work.
I know. Well, it's like,
power on. Oh,
well, it's like, maybe you don't want to put the receiver 250 feet behind a concrete wall. That might start.
It might.
Let's move it out a little bit. We'll start there.
That's a good one. So, what's the answer that no one wants to hear?
The answer that no one wants to hear? Yeah,
especially when
you haven't spent enough money. That's the unfortunate reality, and it's not. I'm sitting here talking into a mic that is probably only $125. It's the reality is that there is a happy medium between the production level that you want to have and the budget that you think you can get away with.
Right.
So I feel like that is where a lot of people find that stumbling block, where they're like, I found this system that was this amount of money and it makes everything really nice and happy. But the reality is you probably need to spend a little bit more to get that level that you're looking for.
Right. The funny thing is, like, I did sales and did training at B&H.
Yes.
So I was their audio trainer. And I would teach the guys. They didn't teach us to upsell, but more or less to. And shout out to B&H. It was like a great learning place for me.
They're going to be exhibiting at our event coming up.
Which is funny because if I still worked there, I would probably be on that team.
That's awesome. They are fantastic people. They have absolutely, this is a big old commercial for them. They've got everything. They literally do.
Yes, they do. They do. And they treat their employees great. So there's another ching. And so it would be hilarious when we would get churches and you would get the guy who know everything, who they think they know everything.
Sure.
And they said, well, we need 8 microphones. And you say, okay, all right. So you go through your Q&A. How big is your church? This and that. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Just how many inputs do you have on your board? 4.
All right. Well,
okay.
I see a problem.
Right. I see a problem. And then they would go, well, we found this system for $300 that had 8 microphones. And we went to another church and it worked just fine. I said, were they in a Wyoming in a wide open space where nothing is near them? Are you in the metropolitan area? And so the whole thing about wireless is so true when you said, what is the most common question? Because most people have no idea about wireless, about spectrum, about distance, about antennas.
Well, and the hardest part I feel like with wireless right now in about to be 2023 is it's a moving target. Exactly. It's not even like the mics that you bought 10 years ago. You may have some real big problems right now.
You definitely, if they're in the 600 and 700, like you have a problem.
Exactly. So it's not as easy as, just do this. It's literally a changing environment in the wireless world. Yes, we have a bunch of the wireless companies coming to the show. Electrosonics is there. Shure Wireless will be, or Shure Microphones will be there. And I know that's always a big hot topic to talk about that.
Definitely. So how did this whole event come to be? Like, how did what was the inception of the idea?
Yeah. It was so I had started the CFX event in January of 2020, right before COVID started. And I spent 2 years building and creating this event and this network that we did. And in December of 2021, I parted ways with the organization. We different ideas, different pathways. It just was, we were going to go in a different way. And I had so many different ideas that I wanted to do that for whatever reason couldn't come to be, whether it was politics or money or, there's a million reasons things don't happen.
Right.
So when I parted ways, it was really cool to get companies that were calling me up and saying, well, what are you doing next? What's your thing? We were signing up because of you and we believe in your heart and what you're trying to do. And I was like, well, I have all these things in my back pocket. Let me see if I can cultivate this and grow this. And that's kind of where Waves started up. Was I've got this idea of something that's more about conversation. It's not how big are the booth's going to be. It's not about, big and silly and long expo halls that your feet are going to hurt by the end of the day. This is going to be more about conversation. I want people to go and have a resource that they can say, I'm having this problem. And there's somebody there that can say, oh, this is how you do that. Or this is how you fix that. Or I have that product that you need for your church.
Right.
That's where this kind of came about. And so it resonated really well. We did our first event in May in Anaheim, and people were coming out of the first couple sessions and were one gentleman, he's really, really a sweet guy. And he asks me if I had a t-shirt. And I was like, I'm sorry, a t-shirt? He's like, yeah, like a t-shirt with your logo on it. And I was like, no, never even crossed my mind. I was like, here's another free lanyard. Enjoy. It was really cool to see how much, passion and heart he had for what was coming out of those presenters, minds. And there was such great chemistry that was happening.
So do you think not to cut you off, do you think the difference between like an NAB and a NAM is the relational part?
Yeah. I mean, it's if you've ever been
those
to
companies will be at both, but
absolutely, yeah, exactly, yeah. You'll see everyone you'll see at our show is likely at some other bigger show. There are definitely some challenges when you go to a bigger show. When you walk up to a booth that is 60 feet by 80 feet and they've brought 100 of their staff and there's probably 300 people standing in their booth, and it's really hard to get time with someone,
right?
To actually have a little conversation, to have a chance to see their products. The other thing is too, when you see a booth that big, you might, be interested in their cameras, but their switchers are 100 feet away, and
right, and they're surrounded by 5 people asking several different questions,
and
or
someone's with
a camera trying to do an interview. And
you got it exactly, and that's there's a place for that. There's absolutely a place for that, and I very much enjoy going to those events. I think there's something special when you can get that kind of an energy around new products and
seeing the future.
Exactly,
seeing the what if.
Yeah. The what if, that's kind of fun.
How can I, I can, when is that coming out?
Yeah.
When is it available?
Yep. Well, right now that's a different conversation altogether, right?
Yeah,
with all the chips and
oh man,
supply chain and
gosh,
what a world we're living in.
Golly, I can't believe, because I was talking to my man from Tascam. He said it's a whole chip spot just burnt to the floor.
Yeah, it is. Right now, there are manufacturers out there that are telling people don't even consider getting a product from us until 2024. And I mean, we're a year away from seeing some of the stuff that we recognize on a daily basis.
Yes.
Back in our lives again.
Yes.
It's crazy. And it's very unfortunate that we got to this point. I do think that we're going to see a change in the industry as far as where chips are coming from,
definitely
what kind of chips that they're going to be using. The fact, could we interchange chips in the future so that this doesn't happen again?
It crippled the whole entire industry.
It really did, and unfortunately, while we think our job is the most essential thing in the world, entertainment in general is not the most essential thing. So they don't necessarily see chips for lighting and for sound as essential industries.
Yeah,
So.
but that speaks more to the our need for technology in the world that we live in now for ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's right now it's amazing what you see in your church producing your services is world-class level. 20 years ago, this would have been on Broadway stages.
Definitely.
And now it is affordable, available, accessible to churches of all sizes. And that's remarkable to me. And I love seeing that we can do that. But again, the technology is really only to be used for getting the message out, for creating an emotional connection with God. If we're not doing that, then we're not here to put on a show. We're here to create something that connects with people.
Right. So if you had to...
it sounds like I'm going to get thrown on a bus. Yes,
no, not a bus. Not a bus. Maybe a train. Not a bus. Maybe a train. If you had to define training in one word, what would it be?
If I had to define training in one word, it would be, experience, I think is probably the best. I know I said the word experience as part of our thing earlier, but it's a different kind of experience. What we're trying to do when we're training people is we want them to understand the as you mentioned, the possibilities, the technology and how you can do things. So when we're talking about what's best, we're doing a session on what's best for your church, an LED wall or projection technology. The experience that you're going to be learning, it's not necessarily a tactile hands-on in that environment, but the idea is that you're going to be ingesting this information that you can turn around into your own personal way and relate. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do with training.
So let's talk about what's happening. When is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
I think people are waiting like, okay,
I know.
Are you going to tell me?
No,
we have to go to the show notes. I'm pretty sure you've already gone to the show notes because it's taken us a while to get here. We've now arrived at the moment where we unveil the date, the time, the place.
Yes, sir. We are going to be in Orlando, Florida, January 24th to 26th. It's 3 days if you count everything. We do some pre-conference workshops, which are kind of hands-on or all-day full workshops where opening night, we're going to be doing a church tour of Discovery Church, showing off their brand new broadcast center. And I know it's amazing too. I got to go in July, and the stuff that they have in this campus, in this old Sports Authority that has been converted, is amazing. It's beautiful.
I need to get an interview with their tech guy.
Oh, Rocky Bar. I'm sure we can get you connected. Okay, absolutely.
Please. Thank you.
He's a very nice man. And they offered to do a worship service with their worship band because they wanted to showcase not only, hey, this is what the consoles look like. This is what it is in reality. So it's going to be very cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we've got 2 days of conference and expo, pretty much standard what you would see, training, breakout sessions.
So what are the breakout sessions?
Well, we kind of grouped them under audio, video, and lighting, but we have recently, Jamie Miley of Ascension Worship, he reached out to actually Doug Gould and said, I've seen your program. I see what you're doing. I really love this. I feel like I can help. And he has added a worship component. So we're doing now sessions.
I saw that on the site. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool. I mean, it still falls within the audiovisual kind of world. So there are sessions like that he's doing. It's Don't Do Everything You See on YouTube. It's one of my favorite ones. There's my vocal instructions because singing shouldn't hurt. Like, I thought that was a great one. So there's a kind of more on the worship side of things. But otherwise we're doing things with David Jordan, who's at First Baptist in Orlando. He's going to be doing a session about getting the best sound out of your mix. We're going to be doing, I mentioned earlier, the LED versus projection. That's David Leuchner. He's going to be there doing that session. We've got Mark McDonald doing a session on, this one's actually really interesting to me. It's how do you utilize audio, visual, and lighting to create your own unique church's brand? So
that's interesting.
Yeah, right. It's because when you think about it, it's because he's an expert in branding for churches. And we were kind of talking about this, he and I. And
I need to talk to him.
Yeah. Can we
on my podcast?
Can we do things like, specific lighting effects that are, not trademarked, but they're ours. This is our way in which we do things. And you create
in presentation.
And you kind of create your own template of your production.
Branded
your brand.
Presentation, which is amazing way to think.
Yeah, right. So we're doing a very cool session on that. There's all kinds of things. We're doing sessions for mixing for your live streams. There's
which we discussed earlier.
Yep. Lighting for live stream. Live stream is a very hot topic right now. Even coming out of COVID, where everyone had to learn how to live stream very quickly. It's not going to go away.
Or not.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, I mentioned, I grew up in the Catholic Church. My family's live stream was, they set up an iPhone and, that was it. And I came in, was like, can we please use my laptop and my condensers? Please, at least let me get you to this level.
Right.
But they even know that the next step is, okay, we need to set up some PTZs. We need to set up a real system in our church. So, but the live stream is it's part of the program. It's part of our future. It's just not going to go away.
It's not going to go away. It's the crazy thing, like during the pandemic, my father-in-law's church, I would call him and he would text me back, "Hey, I'm at church." And I'm like, it's the pandemic. And like, what are you talking about there? You're not at church. And he had the speakerphone on, because they were having church over the phone.
Oh, wow. Hey, you know what, though? Any way you can.
But I was just blown away that no one thought. Because in your hand is a computer.
Yeah, they really don't have any tweens in their audience.
No one's there. It was Mama Jones and Deacon Jeffrey.
No.
Oh, we gotta pick that thing, put it right there, put the phone in the middle of the floor. We just gonna get the tambourine, and we just gonna have church. That's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have church.
I think it's great. I love it.
It's any way, like you said, any way you can.
Yep.
Works.
Yep.
For whoever's listening. And as long as the message gets out there, however it gets out there, and I believe from talking to you that this conference is the conduit for those people and people who are at different stages as well. Yeah,
the bulk of who this conference is likely for is going to be your smaller to middle-sized churches. While everyone is welcome, of course. If you have 1,500, 2,000 seats in your church, you're probably pretty good at what you're doing. You're probably already at that level, and you're absolutely welcome to come and see what's out there and talk to the people that's exhibiting. But the church with 300 seats that's saying, we would really like to take our streaming to the next level. Maybe we'll add some moving lights this year. That's really, I think, who this conference is speaking to. It's that church that's about to grow or is considering growing and wants to know, what are the steps I need to do to get to that next level that I see that church on the other side of the city doing.
Right. Earlier, we talked about Adante doing a workshop there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have an idea what Dante is.
Yeah, it's funny when you go to, I think my first introduction to Dante was going to those other events and seeing a little placard in the booth that says Dante has spoken here. And I looked at it and clearly said, well, I don't
300 brands.
Yeah, I don't speak it. So I don't know what this is that they're talking about. And then you start to realize what networking is. And so, yeah, we Audinate is they're exhibiting at the show. They are doing a pre-conference workshop, which is it's two parts. One is a Dante boot camp. You bring your laptop. They teach you how to set up networks and how to begin this whole process. And then part two is intro to managed networks. So it really takes that networking to the next level. And one thing that we specifically talked about in the training is that it's not just audio anymore. We need to be talking in networking terms about incorporating your video into it, incorporating your lighting design into the Dante world.
So the Wave event is happening January 24th through the 26th in Orlando, Florida. We're going to have links in the show notes, but just in case you can't get to your computer or your thumbs are broken, what is the website and where can I get the information?
It is wave, W-A-V-E -event.co, C-O. I couldn't get the .com. Somebody already had it. So, so we are wave-event.co. And I mean, who doesn't want to be in Florida in January? It's like the perfect time of year. It'll be, beautiful. The food's great. It's right on International Drive. There's a million restaurants right there.
And
I can give you all the recommendations. Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
I already got my room.
Oh, right on. Good. Discount, man.
Yeah, I already booked my room.
Yes.
Me and my bride will be there. We're going to hop in the car and go to Beverly and drive on down the road. I'm looking forward to being there. I would love to talk to you off script. Definitely, I want to set up some interviews. If we could do that, that would be great.
My pleasure. I'm sure we can set that up.
And I definitely want to be able to talk to a bunch of manufacturers as well and kind of make it like a Wave event on the Church Sound podcast. And I think that'll be dope. Yeah.
Oh, look, you're more than welcome. Your listeners are definitely welcome. This is part of a bigger thing for us. We're year 2 now of this company and this organization. And our hope is to continue to grow our community. You'll start to see some newsletters coming from us and original articles and podcasts, and we're working on more Wave events coming soon.
I'm looking forward to a beautiful 3 days in Orlando, Florida. The real cool thing is that my sister lives in Ocala, which is like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So I know my sister will show up.
You got family. This is great.
Yes, I have family down there, so it'll be cool. I'm pretty sure they'll all show up at some point in time to see me.
It'll be awesome.
I'm looking forward. Before we get out of here, we do this thing called 30 Seconds and Gone. Okay, so 30 Seconds and Gone are your questions of true, false, yes, no, maybe not. So if you're ready, let me know. You're ready. Okay.
I love it. I'm ready for the game show. This is
all right. Here we go. Question number 1. What's your favorite teenage band?
Oh, Van Halen.
Van Halen. Okay. Best Christmas gift ever?
BMX bike. When I was 12 years old.
Great. Domino's, Papa John, Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. Favorite mixing console?
Oh, I can't say that because I am friends with all of them.
Okay.
But it might begin with a D.
Top three.
Digico, the SD stuff that they've got going on. Yamaha's great. And Allen and Heath. Can't go wrong.
Okay, you can't go wrong anywhere there. Last question. This is for our Bible people out there. Are you a St. Peter guy or you're a St. Paul guy?
I go St. Peter. I go old school.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs of all ages. 30 seconds has gone.
That's awesome.
Hey, I'm so excited to have you on the show. What a way to start off season 3 with a bang. Make sure you go to the show notes, click the link and click the link there. It'll take you right to the website. Go get your seats early. Rooms are filling up. I already got my room. They have a great discount. You definitely want to do that. The location is great. It's going to be sun. It's going to be people. It's going to be worship. It's going to be equipment. And I'll be there. Ron will be there, and so many other manufacturers. So make sure you go check out the Wave event. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Like we always say, keep God first in everything you do. We see you next time on the Church Sound Podcast. Yes.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.